GamerCast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the GamerCast Network video game show for Sunday, November 9th, 2008. This is episode 115. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, let's say you're going to eat an animal from a game. You have to cook them up and eat them. What animal race from a game would you like to eat? Basically, which one would you find delicious? And joining us this evening is Ivan.
I would eat the mushroom people, the Goombas from Super Mario Brothers, because mushrooms are delicious. You just have to pull their pointy teeth out first.
And also joining us is Tom.
One of the DOA girls.
Oh.
That was where I was going as well.
I'm like, I hope Chad calls me second because someone's going to steal that joke.
Or does that not count because they're human?
I was thinking, critters, not people.
Okay, then in that case, those cat women from Final Fantasy Online. Because they're not human.
Oh my god.
But they're still pretty hot.
Yeah, what other hot, non-human?
Oh, that's not the question.
Okay, Tom, you're in the corner now, Tom. There you go. Continuing on, and also joining us is Bob.
I've always wanted to try Chocobo because they're stupid looking and cute, which probably means it's delicious because that's the general order of things. The stupider, cuter looking something is, the more delicious it is.
Direct correlation to taste and cuteness.
Mm-hmm. I believe so. I do.
Next on the list is Keith.
The piñatas from Viva Piñata.
Oh,
Be
paper mache
screaming-
tastes lovely.
No, what's inside of them is the candy goodness. They're innards.
Gut it open, and instead of intestines, there'd just be like red vine.
Exactly.
It'd be awesome.
I make all the other piñatas watch.
Oh,
Gutting a piñata as a lesson to the others. Yeah, I like that. That's the only way to keep them in line.
Oh my god, people need therapy.
and also joining us, special guest of the night.
I just need a woman.
Oh, can I get out the show here, people?
I just need some red vine.
And also joining us, special guest of the night, is Paris from Uncle Gamer Radio.
Now, in the 5 minutes that I've known about this question, I've put a lot of thought into it. And I just want to say that, Keith, you stole my answer because I would just eat candy out of the piñata. But thankfully, I came up with a backup, and my backup would be Tails from Sonic because I think it might be kind of video gamey and delicious.
Nice. Waka waka.
Oh, I have to have an answer, don't I?
Yes, you do.
No, you're the host. Doesn't matter.
In the time I haven't been thinking of an answer, I'll just give, let's think here now. Sonic the Hedgehog? Going with the Tails theme there,
He seems kind of lean. There's not a lot of meat there, really.
Yeah, he's a runner, isn't he? Still, you know what? I'm open to trying new things. Hedgehog, lean meat. It's all good.
Lean meat.
Tastes like chicken somewhere in the end.
This week on the GamerCast Network, the Gamertag radio staff gives you nationwide coverage of the Gears of War 2 midnight launch, an interview with Mike Capps, president of Epic Games, and find out how you can win a free Gears of War 2 special edition soon. Head over to GamerTagRadio.com for all the details. On the Sarcastic Gamer PlayStation podcast, is it really going to take 420 hours to finish Resistance 2? And the PSP 3000, despite its problems, is unhackable. On Uncle Gamer Radio, Paris and Jay continue their discussion about the glutton of holiday titles including Gears of War 2, Call of Duty World at War, and Left 4 Dead. On the Post Game Report, JVB airs his grievance with Fallout 3, and Arbor calls out Phoenix on his fanboyism of Gears of War 2. On Sarcastic Gamer, with Gears of War 2 being released, Cliffy B is everywhere, giving his opinion on everything. Why do we care? Discover the community that brings you all these great podcasts and more. GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
We probably should talk about Gears of War 2 since that came out a couple days ago. People here have been playing it.
Indeed.
You and Paris. Paris, you've been playing it too?
Yes, I have all weekend.
So what do you guys think of it so far? Gears 1.5 or...
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, this is a proper sequel to Gears of War. They've improved a lot. It's a thing of you'd have to play Gears 2 and then go back and play Gears 1 and you'll notice the difference. The scale has really been ramped up.
In terms of number of characters able to be on the screen at one time.
Yes.
So how is the multiplayer? I understand one of the big modes here is a new Horde mode.
Yes.
So it's okay then? Passable?
So this is the mode where I guess the locusts are probably swarming you and you're cooperatively fighting them. It sounds like a kind of like a Left 4 Dead kind of thing where you're being swarmed by the enemy.
Playing it reminds me a lot of Raven Shield and doing terrorist hunts, although it's not so much hunting as it is them coming to you.
I guess the best way I could describe it is an experience I had Friday night. We kept saying, remember the Alamo, because we all bunkered down in this house and just these waves of horde were coming at us. We're all just together as a team, fighting in this one house, trying to hold them off and putting shields up in front of the door. And you're thinking, oh, we haven't been playing that long. It's like I look up at the clock, it's like 3 hours later and we're still playing.
Now, here's a question. So do you see the horde mode or the standard multiplayer mode being more popular in the long run?
The long run, I don't know. The horde mode is a lot of fun, and there's going to be a lot of people playing it early on just because it's new.
And that's it for me, too. It's a thing of, is it just because it's new that I enjoy it so much, or is it going to be a long-term thing? It's hard to say. I know right now I prefer horde mode. I think the thing that will help horde mode out in the long run will be DLC, how many new maps come, because every time a new map comes out, you're going to go, all right, let's do horde mode on that. And you're just going to play it over and over and over. So that's going to be the challenge. The thing that I think, to me, seems virtually impossible, but I guess you can do it, is to defeat horde mode on level 50 on Insane. Right now, I can't see it. I'm sure someone's going to do it, but it gets really intense once you get into the upper 20 level.
Now, here's another question real quick. So horde mode sounds a lot like Left 4 Dead to me, where you're being swarmed by the enemy. Do you think that Gears 2 it probably will take over popularity in terms of Left 4 Dead just because it's Gears 2, but do you think this horde mode might also cut into that a little? Like people will ignore Left 4 Dead because, hey, Gears of 2 has got this mode.
It's funny you say that because I've played both. I was even commenting earlier that to me, Left 4 Dead is really a PC game and the 360 version is just masquerading as a PC game. It's two different experiences, really. Horde mode is going to be more popular on the consoles, but I just enjoy Left 4 Dead so much that I think it's really going to take off on the PC.
And it's a Valve game, so of course it's going to be popular on the PC.
Hey.
One last question. Gears of 2 story. The Gears story was not very out there in terms of greatness. Any more depth here?
No, the story's different, but it's just as shallow as Gears 1.
There is a story?
Yeah, I mean, the story in a nutshell, without any spoilers, is in Gears 1, they shot what is essentially a nuke into the underground, thinking they were going to kill all of the Locust, and it turns out they didn't get them all.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, so you...
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So you have to start over.
Yeah, I mean, all joking aside, it's improved from the first one, but really anything could have been improved from the first one. So it's there. It's mildly entertaining, but that's not what you're playing the game for anyways. So it's just an excuse to shoot more locusts.
I'm waiting for Gears the RTS now.
It's a possibility. I mean, there's a Halo RTS.
There's no more Assembled Studios, though.
Assembled?
That's what I said.
I thought it was Ensemble.
Yeah, I thought it was Ensemble Studios.
You have to take what I say, translate it in your own head, and...
Next topic.
Paris, PlayStation 3. Have you played Resistance 2? Because that just came out last week as well.
Yes, I have.
We do have PlayStation 3 listeners out there, hopefully. Resistance 2, is it better than Resistance: The Fall of Man, the original one? Any improvements at all? I played Resistance, and I found it to be an above-average first-person shooter. Nothing that great, but okay. Does Resistance 2 build on that at all?
Well, yeah, let me put it in this context. Yes, it is better than Resistance 1, but it's still a disappointment at the same time because the single player almost feels like it's tacked on and they didn't put all the effort into it that you would expect them to, whereas the multiplayer and the co-op is what shines. So from that aspect, I'm actually disappointed because the first Resistance to me was very slow and then it picked up towards the end and I'm like, wow, I can't wait to get Resistance 2 to see how the story continues. And it felt to me like they just mailed it in. It feels like a very average shooter versus being above average this time.
So the inevitable Resistance versus Gears isn't so much of a...
That contest, I don't even think is close. I think Gears blows it away on all fronts.
And have you played Little Big Planet at all?
Yes, I've been playing that too. I really enjoy it.
Playing a lot of games.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny. I complain so much about not having time to play games, but I seem to play a lot of them, so go figure.
What do you think of Little Big Planet? I personally haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I've only been seeing what people have been making, but it seems like it looks very good and very fun.
It is. It's a very enjoyable game. I mean, it looks beautiful. Being able to create your own levels is very interesting, but the problem they're having right now is, A, they can't keep the servers up, and then B, when you do get in, there's this section called cool levels where you figure, okay, these are all going to be these really polished and great levels to play. 90% of them are crap. and you have to sift through all that to actually get a good level to play, and then you have a good experience, and there's the 4-player co-op in it too.
That's the problem with all user-created stuff.
It's
so
YouTube.
much crap and sifting to find the good stuff.
Yeah, they really need to come up with some type of way, and I don't know if they need to just get some guy and lock him in a room and that's all he does every day. But they need to get a way to just say, okay, these are good levels, these are highlights that we want you to check out and play, but if you want to see the other stuff, you can go over here too.
Couldn't they implement like a user-rated, like you rate the maps and everyone rates it? The higher the rating, the closer it is to the top when you first go to start browsing through them.
But you do realize that makes sense, right?
Well, I mean, it's just a simple solution. Do that,
Right.
and then you don't have to sift through the crap because everyone else is doing that for you.
But how is the single-player component of Little Big Planet? I mean, is that at all enjoyable?
It's very enjoyable, and what the single player does, it's basically a tutorial showing you various things that you can do when you want to go create your own level. Once you go through that, then you're open to start creating your own levels, which personally I'm too intimidated to do. So I'm just one of those guys that wants to play it and not actually create. When you do see some really good levels on there, you're like, I would have never thought to do that. I would almost be embarrassed to try and make a level and put it up there so people can just say, oh, well, that sucks. I'm like, well, I could have told you that before I uploaded it. So I just play. I don't try and create it all.
We're completely immune from people telling us that we suck on the internet.
Next topic.
There was a theft of games in England, and you guys will appreciate this one. There was a delivery truck parked somewhere overnight, and this was full of pallets of games for stores, and 2 of the pallets were stolen. On those 2 pallets, there were 4,000 copies of a game valued at $60, so thieves got off with about $250,000 of merchandise.
Nice.
Wait, hang on, what was the game? Age of Conan.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Age
Turned
of
into a Benny Hill skit.
I just can't imagine how you move Age of Conan on the street.
You don't move Age of Conan on the street. Maybe it was an inside job. Maybe they were like, oh damn, we're never going to sell these things.
Insurance write-off. We're just going to leave this truck full of our game over and selling over here. The doors just might happen to be unlocked.
It's a perfect plan. Thieves everywhere, little British thieves. Would you like to buy a watch? And you get a free copy of Age of Conan.
One real quick story. I remember we've talked occasionally about Champions Online, the one that was looking kind of meager at PAX.
Yes.
They picked up a new design director for their game. Guess who? Let's put it this way. His last game didn't do very well.
Bill Roper.
Yep, there you go. Hellgate London's Bill Roper.
Oh, Jesus.
Poor Bill Roper.
Well, there's that nail in that coffin. Okay, good.
What if he was ever on the phone with the guys at Blizz? He's like, hey guys, what's going on? So, all right. Are you guys looking for people?
You know, I'm just making an MMO, getting by. Just hanging. Right? We're cool, right? We're cool. We can hang out. Get some lunch. Hello?
Next topic.
Has anyone here played Guitar Hero World Tour?
Yes. Honestly, it was just like the other one. Rock Band.
I've played it too, and exactly what Keith said. I mean, it's Rock Band, it's Guitar Hero 3, it's the same thing again. Now you got drums and a microphone. That's the only difference.
With Guitar Hero World Tour, they have a whole user-created content system here where people can make their own songs. Either of you tried downloading any of those? Because apparently you can share those as well.
I just played it at a buddy's house one night after we went out.
Yeah, exactly. I was in my neighbor's garage playing it. I haven't bought it. I don't have it at home to do it. I know what you're talking about. I went to the Guitar Hero event back in September, I believe, and got to see it in action. I mean, it's pretty neat, but it sounds like now they're talking about going to some type of subscription service to use it.
Exactly. This was, again, from the Activision earnings call. Bobby Kotick was saying that currently on the service right now, there are like 25,000 songs out there that are free to download and play. But it sounds like they are thinking of putting a subscription service on this. Don't think they actually said how it's going to work or anything other than they're thinking about a subscription service for these user-created songs.
Let's just imagine the way that would the consumer the most, and I think that's probably what they're going to go with. So you can't play the game at all without paying a subscription fee, and every time you download a song, that also costs money. And to upload a song, that costs money, and if you fail a song, they poke you in the with a skewer. There. That's probably how it'll work.
Ow.
In my opinion.
Sign me up. I never could say no to a good poking.
Tom dropped again.
I know Tom dropped.
He's running to get the skewer right now.
All right. Skewers, well.
Just sign me up. Zing!
I don't know how this is going to work. I can't see paying money for user-created songs. And mind you, none of these songs can violate copyrights. These all have to be original songs. If they find, like, you put the Mario theme up, they'll take it down.
Then
I mean, somebody has to sit there and monitor every song that's uploaded.
It's the guy doing the Little Big Plan stuff.
Sucks to be them.
Yeah, that's a busy guy.
Yeah.
My internet connection completely crapped out of me again, so I missed the entire conversation. So I'm just gonna just saunter in and just say something really belligerent. Rhythm games are old and busted, and that's all I have to contribute.
Okay, we can go with that. Is anybody tired of rhythm games yet?
Keep getting complaints against me because apparently I drum too hard. So mine sits in the corner and gathers dust now.
Second story apartment.
Third. Yeah.
Nice.
Both the second and first level apartment people complain.
Yeah, they hate me a lot.
I have a question. Is the Beatles, that announcement, is that a big deal to you?
The Beatles have decent music and all, but I don't know that I want to play it on Rock Band or Guitar Hero. How many times can you play the same 3 chords and hit the same 2 drum patterns?
I take that as a sign that this whole thing has jumped the shark. When you have like the Aerosmith edition and the Beatles edition, it's played itself out.
Yeah, and that's my point. I mean, when is enough enough? I mean, am I going to create a band and have them on there eventually or something? I mean, it seems like everybody has their own edition now. And like you asked the question before, is anybody over this whole rhythmic gaming thing? I am. Give me the one Guitar Hero game and a guitar and let me just play whatever song I want. Stop trying to get $60 out of me every year.
And what's worse is when the new games come out with new peripherals. So
Right.
it's not just spending $60, now it's spending $200
well,
or more.
hold up now. In the defense of the gaming people there, they have been compatible. Rock Band
With
shit,
huge issues, though.
but they're still compatible. You don't have to go out and buy a whole new set of instruments.
But, so now if I want to play Guitar Hero World Tour, I can use my
playing-
Rock Band guitar, but I can't use half of the features in the game because my guitar is not... a
Exactly. You're playing
Guitar
Def Leppard
guitar.
edition.
Oh,
He learned to play with one arm, so will you. You just have to play better.
So I guess the question is, are we going to think of this as another genre like first-person shooters or RTS? Because they've thrown so much so fast at the market, is everyone going to become sick of this, and this whole rhythm thing would have been a one-off rather than the birth of a new genre?
It's going to be the same thing with World War I or World War II shooters. I mean, how many of those can you make before people stop buying them?
Is there a World War I shooter?
not really.
About to say, it'd be cool to just ride up on the horse and shoot someone.
Well, it's a World War I shooter. The entire game takes place in one single trench, and you just sit there. And every once in a while, mustard gas explodes nearby.
Next topic.
Fact or crap? There is 1 fact and 4 craps. So you must tell me which statement is true. And number 1, so Fallout 3, a big budget title, and had an all-star voice cast. Now, this was not always the case with the previous Fallout games. In the original Fallout, their budget was so low that developers themselves did all of the voice acting. Number 2, in Japan we know they love the non-gaming games on their little Nintendo DS's. And what just launched over there was the DSi. So now Nintendo is making the game Personal Trainer Facial Makeup. So the DSi has a camera, you take a picture of your face, you put some makeup on it, and it scores you based on that. Number 3, for Japan, the first week's sales of Wii Music beat, meaning more units were sold, than the first week's sales of the PlayStation 3 version of Grand Theft Auto 4 in Japan. Number 4, today sequels are very common. However, back in the day, sequels are always coming out for games. In fact, one of the first games, Pong by Atari, had a number of sequels, including Pong Doubles, Quadra Pong, Super Pong, and Dr. Pong. And finally, number 5. So I had mentioned a number of episodes ago that, the whole Guitar Hero genre really isn't new. It was kind of invented long ago by the Konami game Guitar Freaks over in Japan. And also over there, they were the first at crossing the rhythm genre with other game genres. In fact, they made a game called Ryoko no Musica, The Power of Music, which was a cross of the rhythm genre with the fighting genre. It was kind of like a Street Fighter-like game where you played riffs on the guitar, and those riffs pulled off attacks in the game. So there you go. There are 5 statements right there. 1 of those is true. 4 of those are false. Since we have a guest this week, we'll let the guest go first. So, Paris, what do you think? Which one's true?
I think it's the first one. The developers did all the voice acting for Fallout 1.
Very good. Tom, which one do you think?
Oh, in these kind of games, it's always like the most outrageous one that ends up being true. So I'm definitely saying that the makeup game for the DSi is definitely the true one this week.
Okay. Ivan, which one do you think?
I'm going to go with the Japanese rhythm fighting game thing.
Bob, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Wii Music beating out Grand Theft Auto 4.
Okay. And finally, Keith, what do you think?
Go with
Yeah,
Pong, Keith, and someone wins.
Yeah.
Chad won't win.
Chad won't win. He can't fool us all if we all pick one.
I'm going with Pong.
Yeah.
Suck it, Chad.
Chad.
Yeah, actually, I would have won there had Keith not gone with Pong. Pong is the true one.
That was the only one I was sure that was like a piece of crap.
Of course, Fallout 3 had a big budget. They got Liam Neeson as the voice, but if you go to IMDb and search Fallout, Fallout 2, and Fallout Tactics, you will find that they all had pretty much an A-list of stars doing the voices. Ron Perlman was the narrator voice of all the games. Hell, MacGyver was number one.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, we're done now.
Dun, 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 dun.
I totally made up the facial thing.
Because you love facials?
Yeah, there you go. Go with that, yeah. No, there was a personal trainer walking that came out for the DS in Japan, and it sold pretty well, so I just went with that. And
So really quick, what is the DSi?
it's the new DS. It's got a built-in camera, takes SD cards as memory, and they're going to have a whole DS Wear, kind of like WiiWare thing where you download games.
I hope you can send photos to other DSs wirelessly. Like if you go to PicoChat now and send pictures.
Dude, we already know what would happen. The fact when we were playing Magic at PAX already proved that.
Yeah.
I was using the DS PictoChat to keep track of my health, and as soon as someone else came within range of the PictoChat, guess what the first thing that popped up was? A picture of a So if you're able to transmit regular pictures, you're just going to have someone's picture of their real junk instead of a drawn junk.
Grand Theft Auto 4 sold 133,000 on the PlayStation 3, and the Wii Music sold 90,000 copies the first week. And I just totally made up the guitar thing.
It's not completely made up because there is a game where it might not be rhythm based, the Street Fighter puzzle game. As you do the Bejeweled thing, you do fighting moves.
If there is one, I don't know about. The only one I know is a rhythm game crossed with another one is the Patapon, which is the rhythm strategy game, where you beat the war drums in rhythm, and that determines how your army moves.
So that should have been one of them Congo games where you're like the goblin in the orc army and you have to beat the war drums.
Dude, that would actually be fun.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. And you just have it be like a big cinema thing where it's nice, real pretty, and you just, as long as you're beating the drums well, you're going to slaughter all the humans.
Next topic.
I got a nice little mailbag right here for you. It's got some stuff inside. You want to take a look?
So here is a piece of mail from the Green Monkey King.
Wow, that's impressive. The stature of our mail is...
My brother and I just bought a PlayStation 3 and it's the latest 80 gigabyte model. And we're finding out now that it's not compatible with our PlayStation 2. We bought the thing in the first place because my PlayStation 2 just crapped out and we figured it'd be an investment to just buy a Blu-ray player and game system in one. They had obviously not heard that all the PlayStation 3s aren't backwards compatible with all the PlayStation 2s. He goes on, should we just return the thing, or will there be a software update later on so we can play our PlayStation 2 games?
No.
I was about to say, Vicious, this is on you because you play PlayStation 3 there.
Unfortunately, he's SOL. I actually have a launch PS3, so it is completely backwards compatible. And if you even go check eBay right now, it's very valuable. Sony has no plans to put out any software update to make PlayStation 2 compatible games on the new 80 gig PS3s.
Yeah, people had thought they would at one point.
Right.
So they've got 3 different versions, right? They've got the launch ones, which had PlayStation 2 hardware in it, and then they had some model that didn't have the hardware but had software emulation.
Right.
And then the third rev, which is just none of the above. I suppose it's possible to do it with software. In theory, they could do it with the software.
In theory, yeah, they could do it, but I think their point of view is, hey, the PlayStation 2 is still selling well.
Yep, exactly.
If you want PlayStation 2, It's still out there. It's still selling. Just go buy one if you want it. It's cheap enough. Is it less than 100 or is it 100 right now?
At BestBuy.com, it's $130. But to me, that sounds like we're going to release the PlayStation 3, which will be backwards compatible with your PlayStation 2 games, so you can replace your PlayStation 2. Holy crap, the PlayStation 2 console's still selling better than the PlayStation 3. Let's take the crap out of the PlayStation 3 so that we can make people buy the PlayStation 2 still. That's what it sounds like to me, which is a really thing to do. BestBuy.com is notorious for you can't go in and buy 2-year-old games. They always have the newest stuff. So if Best Buy is still selling PlayStation 2s, then that means that, yeah, they're absolutely a valid SKU that Sony wants to be out there and that they're continuing to make PlayStation 2s. So the guy's screwed, essentially. If he needs PlayStation 2 backwards compatibility, he's going to have to return it.
Mr. Monkey King here was looking at playing the Dot Hack games. His question was, what do we all suggest that he do? In the short term right there, I think he's screwed. He has to go buy a PlayStation 2.
He's the green Monkey King. His arch enemy is the yellow Monkey King.
Red.
Yeah, everyone knows green and red are the polar opposites.
But no, Sinestro had the yellow. See, that's where I was going. The Green Lantern.
Oh, dude, you're thinking DC, which we've already discussed. No one cares about.
Next topic.
So we did have a contest where we were giving away a copy of Justice League: The New Frontier.
See that segue I gave Chad right there? He goes right from the Green Lantern's reference into the Justice League.
Yes, see, very nice. Thank you there, Tom. And apparently we don't have lots of PlayStation 3 or comic book lovers out there, because I had asked for some questions, a good question, on comic books. We got some entries, just not as much as when I had given away a copy of Gears of War. That one we got, tons of entries, and this one we get a few. Here's the best one.
You sound so enthused.
Well, I try and do a contest here. I give away all my copies of Justice League. It's a good movie.
What, the Justice League, the New Frontier thing? I hated that. I bought it and then promptly sold it at work. It was awful.
Good movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I mean, yes, it's wonderful. Everybody should be happy to send in a question and get it. Dude, they totally are buying it.
Shut up, it's a good movie.
It is! I swear it is! Why don't you believe me?
For the DC comic book lovers out there, it's a decent movie. Okay?
No,
Leave it
it's
at
not.
that. Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
It's a horrible
Are you a
cartoon.
DC comic lover, though, Bob?
I'm a cartoon aficionado, and this thing sucked. There.
So you don't count, you're not a DC lover, so.
I guess not. I like Batman. They didn't even have the right voice for Batman. That's what pissed me off the most. It's Kevin Conroy. He has to be the voice for every Batman in every Batman cartoon.
Why are you trying to kill me?
Okay, so they took some liberties with the characters and had a few new guys come in. But hey, okay, fine. We're going to move on. We're going to go with this guy's question, because I liked it. Because Tom will have a good answer. I know he will. What's your favorite writer-artist combination?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
See, it's a good question.
I hate to say it because the last comic that I read of them was a Marvel title. They did the run of Punisher, but they also did stuff in Vertigo, like Hellblazer and Preacher. So Steve Dillon and Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is just bent, and he writes stuff that is just absolutely deranged. And Steve Dillon can draw like a decapitated head or a chest cavity that has been blown in with a shotgun like nobody else.
Or a knife to the crotch like no one else.
Nice.
What I look for in an artist.
That question was sent in by Bernard. So Bernard, congrats, you win the movie. And now we're going to start up a new contest. We have a copy of Gears of War 2 to give away. So we need a contest. Anybody got an idea for a contest?
Send in something. Whatever is the most amusing something relating to video games, you'll win.
Text. Has to be text form. I don't want no applications being bombarded to me. I want just plain text email. Just something. We don't know what we're looking for. You must tell us what we're looking for.
And what's the address of the mailbag?
Mailbag@videogameshow.org. Where else would it be? Actually, I think anything at videogameshow.org will work, but hey.
Just send your request to Chad's mom at videogameshow.org.
I knew it. I was going to say it and now to it.
Oh, we come full circle.
And that was Video Game Show episode number 115 for Sunday, November 9th, 2008. Any ham sandwiches or share dream pies to give to the world peoples?
I'll leave a ham sandwich for Vicious.
Yes. Paris here obviously had to, let's see, what was the last message I got from him? My kids are screaming my name, be right back. Paris, ham sandwich, Everybody listening should go check out Paris's podcast, Uncle Gamer Radio, as well as his other podcast, Remember When. You can find both of them over at talkingaboutgames.com. Any other Shattered Dream Pies or ham sandwiches to give to the world, apart from the Browns, who get their own Shattered Dream Pie for screwing up right there in the last quarter like they always do.
Completely choking in the end. Way to go.
But they did on a Thursday this time, so it was new and novel.
We choked on a new, fresh day. Ham sandwich to my mom for getting the new dog, and a Shattered Dream Pie to my dad for them getting a new dog.
For getting a new dog, yeah.
A quick reminder about the GamerCast Network Gaming Nights. This weekend, probably for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be playing Gears of War 2. You can find all the details at gamercastnetwork.com/forums. And as always, send in your comments, questions, queries, concerns, or roll call question to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org. Skype us at Video Game Show or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long distance call and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night. How is the whole Xbox treating you there so far, Tom? Liking it?
So far so good. I almost have all my Jewel Quest achievements.
You're an achievement whore. I really hate that about you.
But I'm not. I don't have it.
You were the one that just said last week that you had a hard time coming to terms with your brother, playing Fable or something offline and not getting the achievements? Did you not say that like 1 week ago? Admit it.
I think everyone knows at this point I'm a hypocrite and I speak out of both sides of my mouth on many issues.
So you won't admit it, you'll just say, everyone knows I'm a hypocrite. Okay,
of course not. When a mini got his ass kicked that one time in Counter-Strike too, because that didn't happen.
That's never happened, actually.
See, like I said.
You, sir, are a bitch.